Your suffering, weakness, and kindness, I'll accept them all. Just don't forget this, I may be your blind follower, but at the same time, I'm also in love with you, my idol. FYI, this is a title drop. Like, in English, oshinoko means this, and it's pretty much a title drop. Now, I don't know if Aka-sensei or Oshinoko has ever had a title drop anywhere else, but it is absolutely hysterical that we just had a title drop with this panel of all things. The chaos that has spawned from this image has just been absolutely insane. The community has lost their minds. We have famous artists even memeing the panel with this, like for instance with 64k likes, and if you look up here at the top and you do a zoom in, you can literally see the kiss of Aqua and Ruby. It's very clear that this chapter and Oshinoko is the talk of the town, and it's crazy just where people draw the line in the sand. Incest, it drops it, people want to drop the series. It is the worst thing that should never be within a story, even if it is taboo and not put into a good light. When it comes to other scenes, like 2 weeks ago with Aqua and Ruby's father, and how their father was basically taken advantage of by an older woman and done really, really wrong, nobody talks about that. Nobody gets up in arms for that, but when it comes to this, people are just outright upset. It's weird how that works. It's weird where people draw that line in the sand. But, anyways, dropping that for now, I could easily talk about this low-hanging fruit of just this kiss sequence and just, really just get into, the chaos and all of that. But this chapter, unironically, is actually one of the best chapters of the entire manga. And no, I'm not saying that because of the chaos. I'm not saying that because of the memes. I'm not saying it because of this kiss panel. I'm actually saying it because what the other pages to this chapter does is establishes so much and reestablishes these two characters and really gives us so much more development for them that was very needed for a very long time. Honestly, despite obviously the chaos and how everybody's only going to talk about this page, it's really sad that this page came out in a chapter that just has so much development taking place within it. And so before I get into this and I talk about the kiss and all of that and what this means for the story, I want to back up and I want to talk about the early segments of this chapter and what it does for Aqua's character, what it does for Ruby's character, and where the story can really go after this, because we need to just talk about everything we got from this chapter. One of the big details is that the origin point of this all, and that is Aqua's character and how he has been. Everything that we know from Aqua ever since Ai's death, he has become quite a bit of an edgelord. I think that is a, not fully accurate statement, but it is the best way to summarize Aqua as a character, is that he became an edgelord that just wanted vengeance because of Ai's death. It makes sense, someone he looked up to, basically his mother figure, his new life, he lost it. He lost someone really important in his life. It makes sense why he would want vengeance. I can't fault the guy for that. But the thing is he did become an edgelord, and, he kind of, lost one of the big aspects of him, like the happier nature side to him in the early chapters, because he wanted to get back at those that did him wrong, and did Ai wrong. And for a very long time now, for over 140 chapters of the manga, or technically 130, we have seen Aqua manipulate, lie to get to where he's at. And he's done this to be able to get vengeance for Ai. And he finally takes off the mask for the very first time and says it like it is, and how he truly feels about the situation, how he's felt for all this time, for years now. He finally is in some way moving on past Ai's death. And I think that this is a very significant part to Aqua's character, but also for the story of Oshinoko. And let's talk about what he actually said. Basically, Aqua's always been this person to really just not say the truth. He's always had this facade where he just will not talk to people he's lied about, to Akane's face. He's lied to Kana. He's hurt them, many of them, and he's used them. And he even says this to Ruby within this chapter, that, he's just done too much. He has lied to too many people and hurt too many people to even deserve to smile. How can he smile after what he knows he's done? How he knows he's hurt so many people? This is self-reflection. He's realizing where he's wrong and what he's done to be here, and was it truly worth it destroying certain people's lives or ambitions or hurting them in the end to get to where he's at? Is this what I would have wanted? He is obviously thinking these things, what he's been pondering for a very long time, and he finally says these emotions to all people, which is Ruby, which makes a lot of sense. If there's anyone that can relate with Aqua, that Aqua can drop his guard, would be Ruby/Sarina of all people, because she is someone that truly understands to a degree Aqua's suffering. For one, Ruby also lost Ai. They grew up together. Aqua and Ruby grew up together, but also Sarina had a previous life, and she also died very early and suffered. And, Aqua was there for her on her deathbed. Everything about the relationship, they understand more about each other than other people ever understand about the two. And they're able to talk about things that just normal people wouldn't be able to understand. So it makes a lot of sense if there's anyone to really break down the barrier, the brick wall that just blocks, Aqua's emotions from flowing out, it would be Ruby of all characters. And after her constant insistence of being like, call me Sarina-chan and all of that, Aqua finally just, spills his heart out. He says it like it is, and says how he has been feeling for this entire time. And it is a very healthy moment for his character to really talk about all of these things. And let's get into the very foundation of these emotions. These two panels are just some of the best panels of Oshinoko. That really just gives so much more context to Aqua's actions, which we already knew, but it's nice to reestablish this and get back down to the very foundation point of what has made Aqua as he is, and that is his survivor guilt. Now, I don't think I need to explain what survivor guilt is. I think everybody can understand that, why he would feel that, but I want to talk about the aspects of why he feels that way and where it actually originated from, because there's 2 points within his life, or 2 lives, that is why he would feel survivor guilt. And one point is he was a doctor, as we know, and as a doctor, and you're taking care of patients, you're going to see a lot of people die. Sarina, Ruby, is a character that he witnessed die alone, pretty much. She had no one, her parents didn't come to check in on her on her deathbed. It was a very sad existence, and obviously, Aqua has experienced that, not just with Sarina, but a bunch of patients, most likely, and he's got to see people just, their life end in a very sad and depressing way, and he probably constantly felt like, why am I alive? Why am I here when everybody else that deserves such a better shot at life just never got a chance? And so this, was this darker emotion he felt, that amplified his survivor guilt in the early stages of his life, because he witnessed a lot of people probably dying. That's probably just not Sarina, but regardless if it was just Sarina or not, it makes a lot of sense why he'd feel guilty just from her alone. Fast forward a little bit, we fast forward to, him being reincarnated, and he is given a second shot at life. It would make a lot of sense why he would probably feel guilty after that, because it's like, why of all people would he be given a second shot at life when there's so many people out there that potentially could have been able to, live a lot longer or given a second chance? For instance, Sarina, in his eyes, in the early stages of the story. He felt really upset about that. It's like, why is he here? Why is he still alive when there's probably people out there that deserve it? And then you fast forward to chapter 10 of Oshinoko and Ai's death. Ai died very early, and then it amplified those emotions of survivor guilt even more. He's now like, okay, I was brought back just to watch someone else die very early, very young. Why is this continuously happening to me? Why do I continue to live and have this shot at life on a whim thanks to a god when I shouldn't really be here? And so it makes a lot of sense why he feels guilty for even being alive, because obviously his circumstance of having a second shot at life is not something the average person has. So he is guilty, or he feels guilty, and that's why he can't smile. And I like this, because even if Ruby as an individual can't fully understand everything that he's saying, like all the nuance of every circumstance, she fully understands why he would feel guilty for being alive because I died. In her mind, she's just thinking of I. She's just thinking that I died and that's when he stopped smiling. But obviously, Aqua was very broken even before that because of just Sarina's death. And I don't think she fully understands that, at the very least, at this point in time within the story. Regardless, though, I do think that him opening up and saying this is the path or the stepping stones for him finally being able to move on past Ai's death and become a better person. Be able to live his life how he should live it. And I think that is a good step for his character, because if there's one thing that's been happening for the last 40 or so chapters of Oshinoko, Aqua has become very disconnected, I think, from the audience, or the readers of Oshinoko. And what do I mean by that? Well, we obviously understand his story. We understand why he does the things he does. I think everybody understands that, but he feels very unlikable. Let's just say, like, his character was just becoming very unlikable after everything he's been doing to so many different individuals. That's, like, one of the big reasons why I myself have said Aqua, before this chapter, doesn't deserve anyone. He doesn't deserve to be with anyone. Therapy is probably his best option, because he's toxic. He's bad for anyone he tries to be with. And, you know, the reason for that is because he's just gone too deep in. He just went too far down a dark path, and he needs to turn back around before it's too late and he does something truly irredeemable. And that right there, this chapter kind of brings him back to where we can relate more with him, or at the very least pity him and understand his feelings, and, you know, kind of feel like he's more human. He feels human in these moments, and I like that. It's a really good segment to the chapter of Oshinoko, and I think that Ruby's interaction with him makes a lot of sense too, because she is someone that's also suffered. She is someone that died very early, and she realizes, you know, like, how it feels to probably feel guilty or upset, but her very personality of always having a smile shines through within these panels, and I think that is a very important segment, is that she has always smiled, and she even says this, just smile when you want to smile, and even if it's fake, just smile. And the reason why is because Ruby had to do this when she was Sarina. When she was on her deathbed, laying in the hospital, she always had to have a brave face on, and she tried to keep hope and happiness within her. She's the exact opposite of Aqua, despite facing many odds of potentially about to die. And so she's like, look, you know, just smile, you know, even if you're facing very dark times. And her saying this makes so much sense. It doesn't feel like condescending or anything, because it's coming from a character that actually has already died in the past. And I think that her saying this is like, you know, idols are my inspiration and why I'm here, why I'm able to smile, makes a lot of sense. One of the individuals that were able to help her through her difficult life as Sarina was her sensei, you know, the doctor. And I think that is a big deal here. It wasn't just that she watched through the TV and all that, but it was also her doctor. And I think that is a very important moment where she's like, you're my idol as well. The title drop, you know, with this, and then she's like, you know, I love you and all that. And this is kind of like a continuation of those emotions that were set in motion with chapter 1 of Oshinoko. Now, I do want to point something out, that I'm getting into the kiss now. People have said that it looks like Aqua isn't fully consenting, or Aqua is not fine with this, or he's very uncomfortable, and I just want to point something out that is very important here about this panel that people could easily miss. When he is talking with Ruby here, his eyes have dark stars. As he continues to talk and Ruby gets closer to him, puts herself closer, his eyes go white. He gets a white star, signifying a change in emotional state, and that he is clearer of mind and not like dark and evil, etc. It's very clear what Aqua and Mingo was trying to mean by this, is that, you know, he is reverting back to a happier persona. And as this continues, you know, he continues to have this white eye, and then he kisses Ruby, and Ruby kisses him, and the only eye we see is this white eye star, which implies that he is not against this kiss and the rekindling of feelings that they had in their previous life. Now, I'm not going to get into the whole controversy of this relationship, because obviously there's going to be so many people just talking about that and nothing else from this chapter. I don't need to get into that. All I'm going to say is that I think that these two characters are obviously messed up thanks to their lives and what has happened with them, and I don't think Aka and Mingo are trying to say that this is healthy or really good, but at the same time, anyone that didn't see this coming within the story, this relationship, really wasn't reading. That is the big thing I just want to point out. But I'm going to leave it at that. I think that legitimately, if this does continue and Aka and Mingo continue this relationship between the two characters, I'm going to be honest, I'm looking forward to it. I'm curious to see how they write it. But I'm going to leave it at that. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below how you felt about Oshinoko this week. Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Did you enjoy the chaos? Well, with that, be safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.